Part 27. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zai. Chapter 261. Chapter 261 I don't blame you. Lun Zhenji clasped his hands behind his back and turned his back to him. He looked up at the sky, sighed slightly and said, I will marry you. Unable to hold back the joy in my heart, I burst into tears of joy instantly. Everything she had done finally made sense, and it was no longer in vain that she had spent so much time thinking about how to win his heart. Brother Shenji, Guikale hugged Lun Zhenji from behind. Lun Zhenji seems to be numb, neither rejecting nor responding to the other party. You really don't blame me for killing your brothers, Lun Zhenji turned around and asked her. Although she and her brother have not been that close since childhood, after all, blood is thicker than water. They were born from the same mother's womb and they are as close as brothers. She had no regrets towards him, there must be some reason for this. I know, and I understand you too. My father ruined your family and made you lose your loved ones since you were a child. You just did what you should do. I will never blame you. Guikale looked up and looked up. Lun Zhenji's eyes were full of him, and she didn't care about anyone else except Lun Zhenji. It seemed that in her heart, there was no place for anyone else except Lun Zhenji. Okay. You go back and prepare well first. The wedding will be held the day after tomorrow, Lun Zhenji said. Well, then I'll wait for you to marry me, Guikale said and ran out happily. Lun Zhenji looked at Guikale who ran out, thoughtfully. After coming out of Lun Zhenji's room, Guikale naturally would not return to his own room obediently. What she wants to see most right now is Yang Zizi's desperate expression, which will make her feel particularly comfortable. Yang Zizi, I have been tortured by you for so long, I should pay you back thousands of times. After all this time, she, the blood patriarch princess, finally won, and the prosperous age finally belonged to her. Guikale looked at Yang Zizi who was hanging on the cross and tied with an iron chain. Seeing her in pain made him happy. Hey, Yang Zizi, you didn't expect that brother Shenji would be on my side one day. I've told you a long time ago that brother Shenji doesn't love you at all. He just used it to avenge himself. In fact, he knew from the beginning that you were his father's biological daughter and deliberately approached you to complete his revenge plan. You are still stupid. You think brother Shenji likes you, but you don't look in the mirror. Where does the confidence come from to make you think that Shenji actually likes you? Guikale stood below and sarcastically mocked Yang Zizi, the pleasure in her heart making her even more proud. Yang Zizi was so tired that she could not speak. Her heart hurt as if it had been scratched. I came here to tell you that my wedding is going to be held the day after tomorrow, and since you are my father's illegitimate daughter, I can allow you to attend. After you attend my wedding to brother Shenji, I will send you away myself. Guikale's voice was arrogant and proud. He will not marry you, Yang Zizi said firmly. Even saying this made him laughable, he actually thought that he would not marry Guikale in a prosperous life. In the end, he still didn't want to believe that Lun Zhenji didn't have any feelings for her at all. She doesn't believe that when she loves someone, she can pretend to be meticulous in every detail of her eyes and movements, without any flaw. And her heart was complicated, swinging between hating him and loving him deeply. She doesn't know what to do. Because she never believed Guikale's words that Lun Zhenji didn't love her. Because it is impossible to pretend whether you love someone or not. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zai. Chapter 262. Chapter 262 I will definitely kill you. Ghost Chow was happy to see her unscathed, but it was hard to explain the hatred in his heart. She must make Yang Zizi pay for the pain she endured. Guikale spread out his huge black wings, and his eyes began to glow red. Pain spell. But for Yang Zizi who can withstand all external harm, it is simply not worth mentioning. Damn it, She actually forgot that this dead girl actually had defense skills that had never appeared before. Thinking about Yang Zizi's current situation, being tied to the cross will weaken the opponent's ability and physical strength. As long as she keeps attacking the opponent, her defense skills will not be able to withstand it for long. Yang Zizi, you are tied to the cross now and are no match for me. I advise you not to continue struggling. It will be even more painful, Yang Zizi reminded him with a smile and kindness. Sure enough, it didn't take long for Gui Kale's pain technique to quickly break through Yang Zizi's defense technique. Yang Zizi suffered a heavy blow, and the mental pain was overwhelming, making her feel as uncomfortable as death. No, she must defeat Gui Kale, and she will never allow anyone to harm her child. You are actually pregnant. Gui Chao Le sensed the movement of the fetus in Yang Zizi's belly and said in shock. She seemed to have seen the emotional scene between Lun Chenchi and Yang Zizi. Ah, Gui Kale was completely crazy. In this world, she is the only one worthy of giving birth to a child for Lun Chenchi, and no one else can. Yang Zizi, I'm going to kill you, and the child in your belly won't even be able to live. When Yang Zizi looked like he was going crazy and wanted to use his last trick, she was naturally not inferior. She will protect this child to the death, just like her mother sacrificed her life to protect her. With a sound of Hong, the huge black and white wings were unfolded, as beautiful as a peacock opening its tail. Hunted by Yang Zizi, Gui Kale looks extremely small. She concentrated all her power on her wings. After condensing enough power, Kui Gui Chao Le unleashed the power condensed on her wings in one step. Ah! Gui Kale screamed and was rushed dozens of meters away by a powerful force. Ugh! She vomited and donated blood, and bright red blood dripped from her thick eyebrows and big eyes. Gui Kale instantly felt the piercing pain in his eyes. My eyes, she covered her eyes and said this with her last breath. Polar seeds are of cold quality. From now on, if anyone dares to harm her child, she will ask him to pay for it with his life, including the so-called father of the child. Hearing the screams, Lun Chenchi rushed over quickly and saw Gui Kale lying on the ground with unknown life and death, and was extremely anxious. Lun Chenchi's fast footsteps and the expression on his face were enough to turn into thousands of poisonous arrows and pierce her heart, making her heartbroken and bloody. Lun Chenchi gave Yang Zizi a hard look. If Lele makes the slightest mistake, I will definitely take your life. Lun Chenchi dropped these words, picked up Gui Chao Le and strode out of the dungeon. Hee, how ironic. He didn't even give himself a chance to say a word and left with Gui Kale in his arms. Didn't he see that she was even more injured than Gui Kale? Why did he turn a blind eye and take away other women in front of her? The child in her belly suddenly moved. Su Shi also saw the scene and wanted to rush out and make the decision for Yang Zizi. Be good, don't be afraid, mother will protect you. She looked down at her slightly bulging belly, finally feeling some comfort in her heart. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 263. Chapter 263 Taking Blood. Although her injuries were not minor, she would persevere in order to avenge her brothers and for the sake of the child in her belly. At this time, Mu Shinai, who was feeling uneasy, still discovered that something bad had happened. Yang Zizi is missing. Looked everywhere but couldn't find it. Lun Chenchi came to the dungeon again, with an angry and forbearing expression. You actually killed your own sister. Lun Chenchi looked at Yang Zizi in disbelief, his eyes narrowed slightly. I have never known Gui's own Liang, so what kind of sister is Gui Kale? Yang Zizi said with a sarcastic smile. You killed Lele. Today, I will take your blood to save Lele. Yang Zizi looked at Lun Chenchi with a solemn and serious expression, and her whole body ached. Lun Chenchi. You are so cruel for this woman. Who do I mean to you? Yang Zizi held back the tears in his eyes. She was telling herself all the time that she was the only angel in the world. She could not shed tears, absolutely not. However, facing the prosperous times, no matter how noble and pure an angel was, she could not help but be invisibly stung by his actions. Lele has already told you. In fact, I have known your true identity for a long time. It is because you are Gui Zongliang's daughter that I deliberately approached you to complete my revenge. Lun Zhenqi's face was cold, without any warmth, but his eyes were flashing with countless emotions, so complicated that it was impossible to guess what he was thinking. I don't believe that the time you and I were together were all fake. She had never believed that loving someone could be so flawless. Lun Zhenqi smiled sarcastically, mocking her innocence. Perhaps it is because of stupid angels like you that they were easily destroyed. Yang Zizi was stunned, maybe because he was too stupid and believed too much in Lun Zhenqi, thinking that he was the only man in the world who would not hurt her and would protect her forever. However, he did not expect that he was wrong after all. Paid. She looked down at her slightly bulging belly. She wanted to tell her that they had a child, but he didn't dare to say it because she was too afraid of losing it again. She has nothing now, everything has been destroyed by Lun Zhenqi but she must protect this child with her life. Lun Zhenqi suddenly spread his wings and flew up. Facing Yang Zizi, his hand on his side was shaking violently, and there was an indescribable emotion in his eyes. Finally, Lun Zhenqi seemed to have made some important decision, and resolutely threw the sword in his hand towards Yang Zizi. The sword only scratched Yang Zizi's arm slightly, and the blood immediately flowed down. He just came to take his blood and would not endanger her life. Lun Zhenqi collected Yang Zizi's blood and stood there for a long time, lowering his head and not knowing what he was thinking about. Silly Yang Zizi thought he would look back, but what Lun Zhenqi said the next second made her heart freeze. Although your blood can save her life, it cannot heal her lost eyes. Tomorrow morning, I will come and take your eyes to compensate. Lele. Lun Zhenqi said coldly and left. In the prosperous age, even if he gets my eyes, he won't see the light again. If you want to take anything from an angel, you must obtain the angel's consent. When he took her blood just now, she didn't resist at all and accepted it obediently. She was gambling on the feelings he had for her. However, time and time again, he was disappointed. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 264. Chapter 264. Can I light a lamp? Looking at Lun Zhenqi's leaving figure, she felt indescribable pain in her heart. This time, she finally saw his true face clearly. And she also completely gave up on Lun Zhenqi. Even if she loves him again and regards him as her life, he will never be so stupid and brainless as to trust him again. You are crazy. If you go to the territory of the Blood Clan, the only result will be war. Do you know how many innocent people will be hurt? There is an older elder under the leader of the Wolf Clan, who assists the leader in handling the affairs of the Wolf Clan and provides him with come up with ideas and discuss solutions with each other. Uncle, don't worry, I will never implicate any member of our Wolf Clan. What I want to say is that I will go to the Blood Clan alone to save Zizi. If I can never come back, please ask Uncle to find someone else. Find a leader, 11 Jin said firmly, clasping his fists. No matter how much the elders of the wolf tribe tried to persuade 11 Jin, it was simply not worth it, not to mention that the other party was still a half-vampire, half-angel freak. If he was rescued, he might endanger the wolf tribe, and he might be the scourge of their wolf tribe. Many tribes wanted to destroy her, but they didn't have the ability to do so. Seeing that the demons were hesitant to take action, everyone seemed to be waiting to reap the benefits. However, unexpectedly, there was no movement at all from the demon tribe. Logically speaking, the people who are half vampires and half angels are the most restless among the demons. It is extremely rare that they have not taken action yet, which is also incredible. My uncle has also seen her. She is a very kind and simple girl. She will not hurt anyone, 11 Jin explained. The elder suddenly thought of the girl 11 Jin brought back last time, but wasn't she a human? How could she become a combination of a vampire and an angel? Isn't she human? It used to be, but it's not anymore. There are indeed a lot of things wrong with what he said, but it doesn't seem to be there. Anyway, he doesn't have time to tell stories with his uncle here. If he did, it wouldn't take him 3 days to tell them. No matter what, the night would never end. Uncle, I'll leave the wolf clan to you for now. Then you promise, uncle, if you rescue her safely, you will not have anything to do with her anymore, and quickly return to the wolf tribe to bring happiness to the people of the wolf tribe, uncle said to 11 Jin later. There are great expectations for governing the wolf clan. 11 Jin lowered his eyes and thought deeply, and finally nodded absent-mindedly. The night has fallen, but for Yang Zizi, the night is no different from the day. In the vampire race, there is no light at all. The environment is like this, and so is the ghost's mind. Goikale showed signs of waking up. She opened her eyes weakly, and the darkness in front of her eyes made her have no doubt that her eyes were gone after living in a dark environment all year round. She smelled the aura of prosperity around her, and she instantly smiled happily. This injury was worth it in exchange for Lun Zhenqi's silent protection. Brother Zhenqi, Goikale called him charmingly. His voice was extremely sweet, although it was a little weak. Lun Zhenqi turned around leisurely, with a silent expression on his face, and asked casually, "Are you awake?" Brother Zhenqi took care of me all night, Goikale asked. Actually, no. Goikale woke up just a second after he sat down. Brother Zhenqi, can you light a lamp? I want to see you, Goikale said with a smile. Lun Zhenqi looked at Goikale and felt that she was different from before. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 265. Chapter 265 Amnesia. Brother Zhenqi, seeing that Lun Zhenqi didn't answer him for a long time, Goikale felt a little anxious. Your eyes can no longer see, Lun Zhenqi told her the truth ruthlessly. These words came like a thunderbolt from the blue, leaving him unable to escape. How is this possible? I am the eldest princess of the blood clan. How could I lose my eyes? I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Goikale went completely crazy. Without her eyes, how will she live in the future? She can't see Lun. In the prosperous age, how desperate she must be. Goikale suddenly had a hard expression on his face and said, Yang Zizi. It's her, she hurt my eyes. She tried to slander her and wanted to hug Lun Zhenqi, but was mercilessly knocked to the table and fell to the ground. The look of embarrassment is extremely pitiful. Her hands were groping wildly in the air, but she couldn't touch the him in her heart, but his smell was clearly beside her. Brother Zhenqi, you must seek justice for me. It's Yang Zizi. She wanted to kill me and hurt my eyes, all because of her. Goikale, who couldn't accept the fact, yelled. She was extremely scared. What she is afraid of is not the darkness and never being able to see, but the fear that she is no longer perfect, she cannot see, and Brother Zhenqi will definitely despise her. He finally agreed to marry her, but he didn't expect this to happen. Lun Zhenqi suddenly knelt down and looked at the once majestic blood clan chief princess, who was now kneeling on the ground in a miserable state. He had no sympathy at all, but asked coldly, "Tell me, are the 5 highnesses harmed by you? Then put the blame on me." He was not asking her, but telling her that he knew it all along. Goikale's eyes suddenly widened and disappeared in an instant. What? What did you say? What happened to the brothers? Brother Zhenqi, brothers, what happened to the brothers? Goikale grabbed Lun Zhenqi, but he missed it. The worried look on his face was unbearable. I believe it is true. Goikale, do you think you can escape your own crime by pretending not to remember anything? Lun Zhenji shook him off hard. Brother Shenji, I don't know what you are talking about. What's wrong with my brothers? Please tell me, Goikale begged Lun Zhenji miserably. Lun Zhenji squinted his eyes slightly, and his whole body exuded a dangerous aura. She tried to get away with what she did by using old tricks. Then Goikale really underestimated everyone around her and took herself too seriously. 5 Your Highnesses. It's not good, it's not good, please report to the Ghost King, Yang Zizi is missing. What? Lun Zhenji was full of bullishness. A bunch of trash, can't even see a single person. Lun Zhenji came to the dungeon angrily, only to find that the chain had been bitten off and broken into several sections and fell to the ground. Suddenly he saw a white feather falling on the ground. A unique feather that only belongs to her. He looked at the sky, closed his eyes, and put away his feathers. Ghost King, do you want to chase him out? No need. Lun Zhenji waved his hand, looking at the iron chain that had been bitten into pieces. He knew who it was. Since he dared to risk his life and even ignored the comfort of his tribe to come to the Blood Clan to save people, he must be able to do it very well. Good to protect her for him. He can rest assured. Ghost Kale was yelling and throwing things in the room, and he was so angry that he was going crazy. Keep an eye on her, Lun Zhenji ordered the vampire soldiers. End of this chapter. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 266. Chapter 266 For the Sake of the Children. When Yang Zizi woke up, he found himself in the room of the house in Unju community. Why is he here? Zizi, you're awake suddenly. 11 Jin walked in with a bowl of fragrant porridge, sat down on the edge of her bed gently, and said, Quick, drink it while it's hot. When Yang Zizi saw 11 Jin, he remembered that it was 11 Jin who risked his life to rescue her from the vampire clan. He clearly knows that the Wolf Clan and the Blood Clan do not invade each other, and no one can go to the other's territory. Doesn't he know what kind of danger it will bring to the Wolf Clan if he rushes to the Blood Clan in this way? Hand the poplar seeds, do not eat them. I know you are worried about me, don't worry, the wolves will be safe, and the vampires will not cause trouble. You don't know, Lun Zhenji, he... Yang Zizi stopped talking in the middle of her sentence. She didn't want to mention this person's name again, let alone let his figure wander back and forth in her mind. However, when I mention him, I can't get rid of the prosperous times in my mind. 11 Jin looked at Yang Zizi distressedly and said softly, I know you hate him, but what's the use of hating him? The most important thing now is to protect the child in your belly. Come on, eat it quickly. You are not hungry, the children are hungry. How did he know she was pregnant? He even encouraged her to protect the child, rather than telling her to give up the child. After all, it was an unprecedented and rare thing for her to survive as a half-vampire and half-angel. It might even endanger the mother's life. How do you know? Yang Zizi asked in surprise. Don't worry about this for now, let's drink porridge first. 11 Jin coaxed Yang Zizi. Looking at the porridge with good color, Yang Zizi brought it over and took a bite. Not to mention, this guy's cooking skills have improved a lot. What else do you know about this child? Yang Zizi asked. After all, the fewer people who knew about the existence of this child, the better, but 11 Jin happened to know about it. Although it was impossible for him to betray her and tell this matter, she was still very scared. Maybe it's because I care too much that I'm so scared. I know everything about the child. 11 Jin lowered his head and said, his heart suddenly sore. But he swore that this child would definitely be better than his own, simply because his mother was the woman he loved most in his life. You are not afraid that I will kill you? You can't. 11 Jinfeng said calmly. 11 Jin, if you dare to reveal any word about this child, I will not let you go, Yang Zizi warned sternly. He had never shown such a bad attitude towards 11 Jin. But this matter was a secret that she tried her best to keep. Don't worry, I will protect this child wholeheartedly with you, 11 Jin said sincerely. You should go back to the Wolf Clan. I have left the Wolf Clan and established my own business. Now I am just a stray dog, specially here to protect you. 11 Jin, you will waste your time like this. I don't care about you at all. 11 Jin suddenly interrupted her and said, I know that you have always loved Lun Chenchi. No, Yang Zizi denied loudly, her voice hoarse. From now on, she would never love anyone again. Her heart was riddled with wounds and had long been broken. She no longer knew what love was. 11 Jin looked at the self-deceived Yang Zizi, and his heart was in great pain. He wanted to kill Lun Chenchi immediately, but he couldn't harm the Wolf Clan. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 267. Chapter 267 Restoring a Peaceful Life. I'm sorry, 11 Jin apologized. He knew that the current prosperous world was an unspoken demon for Yang Zizi, lingering in her mind all day long, causing her despair and pain. Don't mention him anymore. Just pretend that this person has never appeared in my world. Yang Zizi lowered his head and hid all the clarity in his eyes and face so that 11 Jin wouldn't see it. Okay, I will stay with you to give birth to the child, 11 Jin said softly. He stretched out his hand to touch her back, but he held back in mid-air, clenched his fist slightly, and finally endured it and took his hand back to his side. Your responsibility is to protect the Wolf Clan, not me, Yang Zizi said. She didn't want 11 Jin to sacrifice so much for someone who didn't love him at all. He finally became the leader of the Wolf Clan that he dreamed of. It's not worth giving up like this. If I can't protect you, how can I talk about the Wolf Clan? He just wanted to be by her side, and at the same time he also had a sense of luck in his heart. He wanted Yang Zizi to fall in love with him. Even if he knew that he was deceiving himself, he was willing to wait until the person Yang Zizi truly loved appeared. He will opt out. Yang Zizi had nothing to do with 11 Jin, and she didn't have the strength to continue persuading him to return to the Wolf Clan. What's going on with the vampires? Yang Zizi asked. He was just asking the vampires, but he couldn't help but wonder what would happen if she escaped from Lun Chenchi. Logically speaking, if she escaped, even if Lun Chenchi did not pursue Gui Kale, he would pursue her and kill her. After all, the Gui Kale now is not the Gui Kale before. She has lost her eyes and will inevitably feel a little inferior in her heart. It's strange to say that I have brought you out for so long, but there is no movement from the Blood Clan. It seems that they don't want to continue to hunt you. Speaking of this matter, 11 Jin was also very puzzled. This is not like this is the temperament of a prosperous age. Why is this approach so surprising? Yang Zizi didn't speak anymore. From now on, she wanted to return to her previous peaceful human life without being disturbed by anyone. Everything that has happened in these years, just treat it as a dream and forget about it lightly. Every day, apart from going to school, Yang Zizi spends the rest of the time at the company or filming on the set. Her definition for herself is to only film one movie a year and then sit in the company for half a year. Not long after, the first work of Yang Zizi Agency officially appeared on the screen, and was presented to the audience in the form of a radio broadcast and an online broadcast. The first episode was mediocre when it aired, and the ratings were dismal. Yang Zizi is very Buddhist and has no worries about whether this drama will be labeled as a bad drama. After reading the audience's comments, I realized that most of the audience went to see Yang Zizi. After all, she has participated in this year's most popular IP drama The Same. Because of her superb acting skills and her big, bright eyes, she has won widespread attention from the audience and attracted a lot of fans. Seeing the stagnant ratings, the whole company is panicking. No matter how vigorously the publicity team publicizes it, it seems to have no effective effect. At night, the chairman of the TV station saw the ratings of this drama and was so frightened that he immediately asked to withdraw it. The president of the TV station demanded urgent and thorough treatment after just one episode was aired. This is unprecedented. Just when the TV station called Yang Zizi, for a second, everyone present felt incredible. An extremely rare and strange thing happened. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 268. Chapter 268. The ratings exploded and the app crashed. This TV series shot to the top of the online broadcast list in 1 second. After just one update, it has already reached 20 billion views. It caused the world's largest video app to be instantly paralyzed. The technology company that developed the app worked overnight to optimize the app. The performance allows the audience to watch the movie normally. The number of broadcasts remains high, dominating all TV series at the same time, breaking the highest record in the history of film and television dramas. When the president of the TV station saw this situation, he immediately put Yang Zizi Company's first drama on the schedule. He couldn't wait for tomorrow night at 7:30. Looking at this situation, this video app seems to be making money tonight. Flipped. Yang Zizi didn't take it seriously when she saw this situation. As for her, she would either not act, or she would act in a big IP drama that would break the record in the entertainment industry in history. This was also what she expected. The whole company was very happy because the salary had been increased, more than double or triple. The boss is mighty. The actors who participated in it all immediately gained fans, ranging from several million to tens of millions. Yang Zizi woke up and found that 11 Jin was sitting at her house watching her TV series. Maybe he is looking at it over and over again. When 11 Jin saw Yang Zizi, he immediately looked at Yang Zizi with admiring eyes. Wow, Zizi, your acting skills are so good. Yang Zizi shook his hair. That's not the case. 11 Jin ran into the kitchen and brought the porridge she had cooked to Yang Zizi. Drink it quickly, it's very nutritious. 11 Jin sat opposite her and looked at her without blinking. Looks like a crazy fan. I didn't expect that the leader of the wolf tribe would one day be starstruck. 11 Jin couldn't help but sigh. Yang Zizi almost spit out the porridge he drank. Chase stars reasonably and grow up healthily, Yang Zizi reminded with a smile. 11 Jin waved his hand. Don't worry. I'm a loyal fan, not a crazy fan. But you look like a crazy fan right now. Really? 11 Jin looked away. From now on, you don't have to come over to cook for me every day. We are just friends. Yang Zizi looked at 11 Jin. She was really grateful to him for always accompanying her when she was most helpless and desperate. By your side, never leave. Since we are friends, we should take care of each other. You are a superstar now, how can you have time to take care of yourself? What's more, you are not alone now, you are two people now, 11 Jin said. Don't worry, I'll be very free in the second half of the year. Basically, there won't be any announcements. She finished the show in the first half of the year, and she will take a break in the second half of the year. Even if it is for the sake of her children, she will also take some time to expand the scale of the company. Looking at it now, the company only has 10 artists. Maybe it can sign some new ones and eliminate some artists who have traffic but no strength. As soon as she finished speaking, the mobile phone next to her rang. Hello, Director. Yang Zizi does not have an agent, only an assistant, so he is his own agent, so that if the director has any scripts, he will call Yang Zizi directly to communicate. Miss Yang Zizi, it's a pleasure to meet you. I have a few dramas here. I wonder if you would be interested in taking a look, the director said with a smile on the phone carefully, as if he was afraid of offending someone. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 269. Chapter 269 Buddhism. Sorry director, I have to take a break for half a year. If the script is good, I will recommend it to my artists, Yang Zizi said with a smile, showing his purity and purity. He is truly an angel. 11 Jin couldn't help but be stunned when he saw Yang Zizi working hard. Until Yang Zizi hung up the phone, 11 Jin was still immersed in it. If you don't go back to your own home, your home will become moldy, Yang Zizi said casually after taking a sip of porridge. It's okay, 11 Jin didn't care at all, even if it was torn down, it didn't matter. Yang Zizi glanced at him lightly, picked up the finished bowl and prepared to go to the kitchen to wash it. 11 Jin immediately ran forward, took the bowl from her hand, and said, "Just leave these little things to me." In today's human world, don't they all think that men who do housework are the most handsome? No need, you will return to the wolf clan sooner or later. I will still do this. Yang Zizi insisted on washing the dishes by herself. She was an adult and could no longer do the simplest thing like before. People who can't do any housework. 11 Jin's movements suddenly stopped. He would never leave. He would never leave until she found the person she could entrust to her for the rest of her life. The woman he likes can only be responsible for being beautiful, and can never be responsible for doing dirty work. Yang Zizi looked at 11 Jin, who was going to the kitchen with a bowl, and felt very sorry, but he soon didn't care. 11 Jin didn't know what he was fussing about, but suddenly walked out of the room with a big canvas bag on his shoulder. Yang Zizi looked at him and burst out laughing. There was no sense of incongruity in 11 Jin's carrying the canvas bag. It looks very much like an ant who is getting ready to go shopping for groceries. Why are you laughing? 11 Jin Feng said calmly, and carefully checked whether there were any leaks inside. Why are you carrying a bag? Yang Zizi was speechless and didn't know what to say to him. He is just here to be funny. I will accompany you to the prenatal checkup. 11 Jin looked at Yang Zizi innocently, as if he knew everything. There is nothing wrong with this kid's mind. He thinks that he will really become a human after staying in the human world for a long time. If he goes to the hospital for a prenatal checkup, even the doctor may not dare to check her. Now is when she becomes popular. How many paparazzi are waiting for her to go out on the street, and then snap photos? This is nothing. The most important thing is that when the doctor used the scanner to examine her, she saw a child with wings in her belly. She was so scared that she cried. When the news comes out, everyone from all over the world will know that she is pregnant. At that time, the blood race and the devil race will not be able to sit still. Although the child's biological father is a wealthy man, in her heart, the child belongs to her alone, and no one is allowed to take her child away from her. You're crazy. Yang Zizi hit him on the head with a chestnut and said ruthlessly, do you want the whole world to know that I am pregnant, and that I am pregnant with an angel with black and white wings? If it had been in the past, when Lun Zhenqi was still with her, she would have announced to the world without hesitation that she was pregnant with Lun Zhenqi's child. But, now, it seems that there is no need for that. Because now this matter is not something worth showing off. 11 Jin smiled stupidly, and that's what he said. It's all my fault. I've watched too many TV dramas about the human world recently, and I've learned both the good and the bad. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 270. Chapter 270 How about calling me daddy? 11 Jin suddenly jumped over the sofa from behind and sat next to her. Hey, Zizi, when will this kid come out? 11 Jin couldn't wait to see this little guy. How do I know? Just ask him. Yang Zizi really didn't know. This child seemed to be very willful. This. 11 Jin looked embarrassed. How should I ask this? Yang Zizi rolled his eyes at him and asked even though he knew it. Human pregnancy usually takes 10 months. The female wolf in our wolf tribe only takes 1 month to get pregnant. I just don't know how long it takes for a hybrid of a vampire and an angel because I have never seen a hybrid. I have no idea about this matter. Why are you, a grown man, studying this? Yang Zizi couldn't help complaining, wondering if he was thinking too far. She had only been pregnant for a short time, and he was thinking so much. Get ready. What are you going to do? This child is not yours, Yang Zizi said straightforwardly. But I am his brother. 11 Jin considered himself a relative. This boy has evil intentions. He actually wants to be her son. No, Yang Zizi refused. According to 11 Jin's call, he would call her old, even though she had just grown up. That's called. 11 Jin was thoughtful, and suddenly an idea flashed. How about calling me daddy? He looked at Yang Zizi with a harmless smile on his face. I am his father, so there is no need for him, Yang Zizi said domineeringly. But you are. Before he could finish saying the word female, Yang Zizi quickly blocked his mouth. Can't I be both a father and a mother? Okay, of course, it's just that we have such a good relationship. What should the little guy call me? Uncle. 11 Jin looked aggrieved. Could he say that he had been spying on the child's father's position? If he told it, Yang Zizi would kill him instantly with a look. It's still important to save your life. Take your time. It's hard to get the position of the child's father. Why don't you stay here when it's cool? I'm going to the company. Yang Zizi glanced at the message from his assistant, saying that the director and the bosses of major media companies had come to visit the company, but they were rejected. For the long-term development of the company and its artists, it is time for them to get busy. Don't you want to rest? Go to the company to rest. I'll go with you. 11 Jin followed behind Yang Zizi. No, it won't be good if it's photographed by the media. She is not afraid of being seen by everyone, she is afraid of being seen by the prosperous world. Despite this, her heart is still expecting something uncontrollably. He naturally knows Yang Zizi's heart. He says he is afraid of being scandalized, but in fact he is still thinking about the prosperous life in his heart and is considering his feelings all the time. 11 Jin felt sour in his heart. If this was the case, he would not look for jealousy. When I arrived at the company, as expected, several famous first-line directors and CEOs of top brokerage companies came to visit. After receiving the director and several bosses, Yang Zizi arranged the company's tasks for the past 6 months. After the arrangements were completed, he waved his hand and stopped caring about anything. He occasionally came to the company to walk around to let his children experience it in advance. Create an atmosphere of serious work. Yang Zizi was sitting in the office, eating fruit and looking at the company's data. While eating the fruit, Yang Zizi discovered that the child in her belly seemed to like fruit very much, and soon she became hungry. Since the little one likes fruit so much, she should eat more. End of this chapter.